And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest, neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor, and to the stranger. I am the Lord your God. Leviticus said a simple thing. It spoke a quiet instruction for a busy time. When you gather the harvest of your land, do not reap all the way to the edges of your field. Do not pick up the gleanings of your harvest. Leave them for the poor. Leave them for the foreigner. The law is short. The words are plain. But the promise held within them is deep and wide. It is a promise about who we are. It is a promise about who God is. It shows us a way to live where everyone has a place at the table, even if they do not own the field where the table is set. Picture a field of wheat. The sun hangs low and warm in the late afternoon sky. It paints the stalks of grain a brilliant gold. The wheat moves together like a slow and gentle ocean wave, swaying in the breeze. Men and women bend to their work, their hands moving with a steady and practiced rhythm. Their backs are strong from many seasons of this labor. They work from the cool light of morning until the soft shadows of evening stretch long across the earth. Each stalk they cut is a small gift of life, a piece of bread waiting to be made. It is a picture of provision. But look closer. Look toward the edges of the field. There, along the stone walls and dusty paths, some grain is left standing. It is not an accident. It is not forgotten. It is not considered waste to be discarded. It is a place set aside with holy intention. The farmer, who has worked so hard for this bounty, does not gather it all for himself. He leaves a corner. This corner is a deliberate act of faith. It is for someone else. It is for the poor. It is for the foreigner. It is for the one who has no field to call their own. The corner is an open hand, quietly waiting. Think of how this small act would have felt in that ancient world. Imagine the farmer, his brow wet with sweat, his muscles aching from the long day. He looks over his field at the abundance God has given him. He could take it all. He could fill his barns to overflowing, leaving nothing behind. The world might even call him wise for doing so, but he remembers the quiet command. He stops his work a few feet from the edge. He tells his reapers to do the same. This act is a prayer spoken not with words, but with restraint. It is a testament to his trust that there will be enough for him, and enough to share. The air is thick with the smell of cut grain and dry earth. The sound of sharpened sickles slicing through stalks fills the day, a constant rhythm of work and provision. Baskets are filled and carried to the threshing floor. The sun beats down, a constant presence. The wind rustles through the remaining stalks, a gentle reminder of the spirit that moves through all of creation. It is a scene of hard work, but also of deep gratitude. Every sheaf is a miracle. Every basket is a sign of favor. The harvest is a time of celebration. Now imagine a woman walking toward that field. She is a widow, perhaps, or a foreigner who has traveled far from her own home. She has no land, no husband to provide for her. Her hands are empty, but her heart is full of need. She does not come to beg. She does not come to ask for a handout. She comes because she knows about the corners. She knows that the law has made a place for her. She can walk to the edge of the field and gather what was left. She can work for her own food, dignity intact, her spirit unbroken. This is the beauty of the law. It protects not only the body, but also the soul. The woman can bend and gather with care, her movements mirroring those of the reapers. She fills her small apron with the heads of grain. She is not a thief. She's not a beggar. She is a gleaner, participating in the harvest in the way God has ordained. She returns home not with a gift of charity, but with the fruits of her own labor. That night her family will eat bread, and that bread will taste of hope. It will be a reminder that they are not forgotten. Someone saw them. Someone cared. The harvest is more than just a time for gathering crops. It is a season that reveals the heart of a people. It is a test of character, a moment to decide what we will do with our abundance. Will we hoard it? Or will we open our hands, recognizing that everything we have is ultimately a gift from a generous God? The law of the corner guides us toward the second path. It teaches us that our true wealth is not measured by what we keep, but by what we are willing to give away. Now, let us bring this ancient picture into our modern world. Most of us do not own fields of wheat or barley. We live in cities of concrete and glass, in suburbs with neat lawns, or in towns where the closest harvest is at the local grocery store. But the need is still the same. People are hungry. People are lonely. People are struggling to find work and make ends meet. The spirit of the law, the call to leave a corner, is as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. The field has simply changed its shape. Our modern corners can look like many different things. Extra food bought at the market and donated to a local food pantry. A warm meal cooked and shared with a neighbor who is sick or grieving. A small, regular gift of money to a shelter that provides a safe place for those without a home. The corner is no longer just about grain. Our money, our possessions, our homes, intentionally setting a portion aside for those who are in need. The harvest is not only what we can hold in our hands. Our harvest is also our time. It is our skill. It is our attention. Spending an hour each week visiting an elderly person. Giving your full, undivided attention to a child. Giving attention to a friend who is struggling. These are the corners of our lives, the edges of our busy schedules, where we can make room for others. A city street at dusk. The lights of a grocery store cast a warm glow on the sidewalk. A young mother stands outside with her child, her face etched with worry. Her purse is nearly empty. Inside the store, a man is finishing his shopping. He has a full cart, more than enough for his own family. As he pays, he remembers the law of the corner. He buys an extra bag of groceries, some bread, some fruit, some milk. He walks outside and quietly offers the bag to the mother. He doesn't say much. He just meets her eyes with a kind smile. Her eyes fill with tears as she says thank you. The simple gift says more than words ever could. It says, "You are not invisible. Your struggle matters. You are a part of this community. We will not let you fall." The man did not make a show of his giving. He did not ask for anything in return. He simply left a corner of his abundance for someone who needed it. The ancient law came to life on a city sidewalk as beautiful and as powerful as it ever was in a field of golden wheat. Leviticus speaks of a field of grain and harvest, but the field is a powerful teacher. It teaches us that our harvest is whatever God has placed in our hands, and from each of these harvests, we are called to leave a corner. Think of your life as a field. What grows there? Perhaps you have a harvest of time. You can choose to leave a corner of that time for someone else. Your time can be a meal for a soul that is hungry for connection. Perhaps your harvest is a particular skill. These are the corners of your abilities, left for the benefit of others. And what about the harvest of love and care? These small acts of love are like the single stalks of wheat left in the field. We are called to practice generosity, not as a rigid rule that crushes the spirit, but as a joyful habit that trains the soul. A habit begins with small, intentional choices. We weave it into the fabric of our days. Over time, giving becomes a natural reflex of the heart. Do not be afraid of giving. The law in Leviticus is not a test designed to diminish you or to take away your security. It is an invitation to trust in a God of abundance. When we leave a corner, we are making a powerful statement of faith. We are declaring that we believe there is enough. We remember life is not for hoarding but for sharing. We trust the God who provided this year's harvest will also provide for the next. Generosity frees us from the tyranny of fear. The world is big enough to hold both our own plenty and our neighbor's need. The modern world needs these ancient lessons. The law of the corner pulls us back. It asks us to slow down. It asks us to look around. It asks us to see the hungry, the lonely, the foreigner in our own streets and apartment buildings. It asks us to imagine each small gift as a profound act of worship. We must protect the poor as the law does. The farmer leaves the grain. It creates a designated place, a system of safety and dignity. Today, we can build systems that do the same thing, help that restores rather than humiliates. This practice makes a quiet promise. We will not let our neighbors go hungry. We will not let strangers fall through the cracks. We will harvest together, and we will share what we have. The law of the field becomes a law of the heart. We become known by the generosity of our spirits. If you are wondering how to begin, start small. You do not need to solve the world's problems overnight. You just need to leave one corner. Take a walk through your neighborhood this week. See it with new eyes. Who is sitting alone on their porch? Who is struggling to carry their groceries? Bring a simple meal to someone. Offer an hour of your time to listen. Find one small corner in your life, in your schedule, in your budget, in your pantry, and set it aside for someone else. The first step does not need to be large. It just needs to be taken. The practice of leaving corners builds a promise into the foundation of a community. We will not turn away from one another. It is a promise that we will share our bread, our time, our lives. Remember the hope in the harvest. The fields will be full again. The corner you leave is not the end of your plenty. It is the beginning of a cycle of grace. When we leave a corner, our joy does not shrink, it grows. These small acts build trust, build friendship, build resilient communities. A community that practices leaving corners is a community that knows how to love. So, listen to the old law one more time. Not as a distant echo, but as a living voice for today. Leave the corner. Share your bread. Give your time. Teach your skill. Open your door.